You ever feel that way? Like you're fascinated by 5 different things at once, but every career coach, every mentor you talk to tells you to just find your niche. You get this feeling of being totally paralyzed by all the choices. It's often called the scanner's dilemma, and your own curiosity starts to feel less like a gift and more like a curse.
But what if that feeling, that entire piece of advice, is totally outdated? What if there's a much better way to think about your career? Welcome to TinyDrafts, a space for high-potential, unfinished people. Today, we're going to dive into a career model that takes that dilemma and turns it into your single greatest advantage: becoming an M-shaped professional.
Okay, let's just let that sink in for a second. This quote gets right to the heart of it. For like a century, the formula was super simple. You pick one thing, you master it, and you're set for decades. But that world, it's gone. That advice to specialize, to just pick one lane, well, it's quickly becoming career suicide. The truth is, your curiosity isn't a flaw. It's your unfair advantage in a world that is changing faster than ever.
So why did that old advice even exist? Well, this slide breaks it down perfectly. The whole go a mile deep strategy was designed for what's called a kind learning environment. Think about chess or golf. The rules are stable. The feedback is immediate. You know if you made a good shot. But today's world, it's a wicked learning environment. The rules are always changing, feedback is messy and delayed, and just because something worked in the past means nothing about the future. Hyper-specializing in a world like this creates massive blind spots, and it leaves you totally vulnerable when your one narrow field suddenly shifts.
Right. This is the big question. If the old map is broken, we need a new one. It's time to stop thinking about your career as a ladder you have to climb and start thinking about it in terms of shapes. And here is the solution in all its glory. An M-shaped professional doesn't just, dabble. They build real, deep expertise, those are the vertical bars of the M, in 3 or more totally different areas. And then, all those deep pillars are connected by this broad base of general knowledge and skills. That's the connecting part of the M. This structure gives you this incredible, powerful combination of both depth and flexibility.
Let's look at this alphabet of shapes to see how we got here. We started with the I shape. That's your classic specialist. Then you have the dash shape, the person who knows a little about everything but has zero deep foundation. You definitely don't want to be that. The T shape was a big improvement, one specialty plus broad knowledge. Then came the pie shape with 2 specialties. But the M shape, that's the evolution of the whole idea. It creates a truly resilient polymath who has multiple pillars of mastery to stand on.
And this, right here, is the most important part. The magic isn't actually in the individual pillars of skill. It's in the space between them. The real value, the place where unique innovation happens, is when you start combining those different depths in ways that a single domain specialist just can't even see. Your competitive edge isn't the depth alone. It's the combination of your depths.
And look, this idea isn't just some new career hack. It's a proven strategy for actual creative genius. The Nobel laureate Orhan Pamuk describes it perfectly. Creativity is about finding that electricity between 2 things that seem totally unrelated. It's the fitness coach who also studies storytelling, or the marketer who knows how to code. Each skill makes the others way more powerful. That's where the breakthroughs live.
So when you embrace this, you basically unlock a set of superpowers. You get something called far transfer. That's the ability to take a concept from, say, music theory and apply it to software design. You get way better at pattern recognition. You become incredibly adaptable and resilient because you've built this strong career web instead of a fragile little ladder. And maybe most importantly, you become an integrator, the person who can translate between teams of specialists because you actually speak all their languages.
All right, I can practically hear you thinking this. It sounds amazing in theory, right? But trying to become a master of 3 different things at once? That sounds like a perfect recipe for total exhaustion. It sounds like how you become that dash shape we just talked about, a master of nothing. So, let's get practical. How do you actually build your M?
The key is something called serial mastery. You do not build the pillars all at once. You build them one at a time. First, just pick one pillar. Maybe it's the one that pays the bills, or maybe it's just the one you're most excited about right now. Then you focus on it for a season, maybe 6 to 18 months. Your goal isn't to be the world's #1 expert. It's just to reach fluency, the point where you can solve the most common problems without reaching for a guide. And once you're there, you don't quit. You graduate, and you start focusing on your next pillar.
Okay, here's another really powerful strategy. You need to reframe what your day job is for.
Instead of that high-passion, high-stress job that just drains all your energy, think about finding a good-enough day job. I mean, think of Einstein at the patent office. His job was stable, it paid the bills, and it ended at 5 p.m., which left him with the mental energy to go build his real pillars in physics. Your job can be a strategic asset that funds your true career construction.
Now, as you're building this M shape, your narrative, the story you tell about yourself, becomes your secret weapon. You have to craft a story that connects all your seemingly random interests into a single, powerful whole. This quote right here is the perfect script. You're not scattered, you are an integrator. You have to show people how each experience gives you a unique lens to solve problems that nobody else can.
So let's bring this all home. That feeling we talked about at the very beginning of being pulled in a million directions, it's not a flaw, it's a feature. In a world that is only getting more complicated and chaotic, being M-shaped is your career insurance. While the specialist is climbing their one single ladder just hoping the world doesn't knock it over, you are building a resilient web.
Ultimately, it really just comes down to this. The system was built to reward narrow little titles, but the future belongs to the connectors and the integrators. So embrace your many interests, follow your curiosity, go build your M, one pillar at a time, because the people who can connect the dots are going to be the ones who create the map for everyone else. This was TinyDrafts.